if you're here wondering if having a book will allow you to charge more money for your products and services, you're in the right place. So first and foremost, the quick answer is yes. And it's yes for two real reasons. Number one, if you are a service provider, if you are a coach or a consultant, you're a therapist, or you're in a helping profession, a lawyer or a financial planner, that kind of thing, you are by nature a helper. Most of us end up in the service professions because we want to help people. We want to help them solve particular problems. And if you're a helper, you want to help people. And there's a natural reluctance, particularly at the beginning of our businesses, of charging a lot of money, because being a helper, we don't want to be perceived as someone who doesn't care, somebody who's in it to be, in it to make a lot of money and to be greedy. And so there's that natural, there's that natural barrier to bringing up our money rates, to bringing up our rates, even when we look at all the work that is involved with giving people a particular result. We still are afraid that, we're going to appear greedy. Worse, when we are truly sitting across from somebody that is in need, oftentimes these people do not have the money. They can't afford to pay our regular rates. So our natural tendency is to keep our rates low in case somebody like this sits across from us. So raising that rate becomes even more difficult. But we get freed up when we have an alternative, when we're sitting across from somebody in need who really can't afford our services, and we know that it's going to take 35,000 hours to give them the big result that they're after. That's 35,000 hours of our time. We now have an alternative in the form of a book. Because if you sell this individual a book for $20, or, worst case scenarios, you give this person a book because they really need your help and they can't afford anything, you are able to give them your wisdom and your know-how, and you can help them down the path. And it doesn't cost you all that time and effort. So knowing you have that alternative allows you to raise your rates. Number two is there's something about having a book that lends you a credibility, be that credibility earned or, not. So you can have a book out in the world that is cockeyed. Like, there are jokes in the industry that you can publish a book with a bunch of blank pages, or you can publish a book with a bunch of ones and zeros. And just having that name, just having you listed as the published author, will give you a credibility. And a lot of people don't check. They're like, oh, did you know so-and-so has a book? So rightly or wrongly, just having a book to your name will give you that credibility. People naturally equate credibility with success. So enough people start treating you as if you're successful, there's a part of that you absorb. You're like, yeah, all these people think I'm successful, and you start acting successful. You start responding and thinking like a successful person, and raising your prices seems normal. It's everybody thinks you're successful, so charge the prices of a successful professional. But I'm somebody who is all about writing a book that matters, spelling out a step-by-step process to get a very specific result for an avatar, to put your heart and soul and deep thought into what goes down on the page. And when you get that kind of clarity, which the writing process requires, when you have that clarity, and you do the work to get that kind of clarity, you're going to feel more successful, because just through that whole thought process, just by doing the work most people don't want to do, you set yourself apart. When you set yourself apart from the rest of the people in your industry because you've done that work, there's just no way you're going to charge seedy motel rates. At least I hope not. So 2 reasons you can raise your rates by having a book.